Well, ladies, I have been under the weather. I so wanted to make commentary on this situation with Isis or the new trophy wife or however you've come to know her, but I had been under the weather and I'm still not 100%. So if you hear it in my voice, just overlook it. I'm doing my best. So let me back up. In case you don't know who the trophy wife is / Isis, I didn't know much about Isis until this story broke. She's a young woman who was apparently making videos about how she became the trophy wife in a very short time. And apparently she was teaching other women how they can become trophy wives. So moving the story along, she's in a relationship with this guy who didn't like her 2 boys, and she somehow gets into another relationship with this new man who ends up becoming her husband. Apparently she needed to move out of her place, or her lease had ended, or whatever the case was. She ended up with this new guy. She told him that she needed a place to stay temporarily, and he says to her, "You're not going to move in with me unless you're my wife." So she moves the relationship right along. She goes out and buys the ring for him, and as the story goes, they go ahead and they get married. As time progresses, they have children. They have 2 girls, and so now I guess one is 4 and the other is 2. So one day she was changing her 4-year-old. I don't know if she was just changing panties or if she was changing a diaper. She didn't make it clear, but she did say that she discovered that the child was red and seemed irritated down there. And she asked the child, had someone been touching her? And I guess the baby said, yes, daddy. So she devises a plan to sneak the children out of the house because she doesn't want to tip him off that she's going to have the children examined. So she goes to have the children examined. They confirm, yes, this child has been touched inappropriately, and they examine the 2-year-old as well. And it is confirmed that the 2-year-old has been touched and or molested as well, supposedly by daddy. So this is where the story blows up. I've seen a lot of women make commentary on this situation, basically bashing her, victim shaming, stating that she was dumb, she didn't spend enough time getting to know the man, she didn't vet him, she didn't do her due diligence to do background checks. Some commentary has been given with grace, and some has been a little bit on the mean girl side. All of those observations are true to a degree. My perspective is a little bit different, not just based on what she should have done with him, but how we women often show up in a relationship. I just wanted to come and provide what I consider red flags that not only Isis did, but I have done when I was much younger. And I think a lot of women carry these red flags into these relationships. And these red flags that I'm going to mention, I have 10 red flags here. I believe that these red flags give men the indication that you are not a high-class woman or a high-value woman. I believe these red flags indicate to men that you're basically just like anybody else, and he can treat you just like he treats anyone else. These are red flags that I believe that we women carry into relationships unknowingly that also cause the demise of the relationship. So I want to get into these 10 red flags, and these are in no particular order. So number 1, being too available and too agreeable. If and when a man calls you or he texts you, you are Johnny on the spot, texting him right back immediately. You're showing that you're much too available. And that kind of takes down attraction. When a woman is just sitting around waiting for a man and whatever he wants to do, let's go to a movie, or you come over my place, or let me come over your place, and you're just so available and so agreeable. You're just showing him that you have nothing else going on. Don't no man want a woman that don't nobody else want. And she don't have anything else going on for herself. She's just sitting around waiting for a phone call. That's unattractive. Number 2, having low standards. And these standards are not just of things that you want. He has to have a nice house and what kind of car you want him to have. Not just standards of things, but standards of how you expect to be treated in the relationship. You have to have standards of what it is that you expect, things that you are willing to put up with, and things that you just absolutely will not put up with in a relationship. Number 3, making a man believe or think that he's your only option. So for instance, when Isis entered into the relationship with the man that became her husband, she made him believe that he was her only option. She told him that she was breaking up with this other guy, or her lease was ending, or whatever the case was, and that she needed to move in with him. That shows a lack of options. In my opinion, she shouldn't have moved in with anyone else. She said that she was a high earner. She was making $90,000 a year. She should have gotten her own place and just been content to just live with her and her 2 boys, rather than to call a man, I need to come live with you. No. Number 4, not willing to walk away when a man shows you something different than what you thought you were getting. She says that he had SA'd her, and I don't know if that was RAPE, and I'm sorry that I have to spell this out because we know how the algorithm is on YouTube. She went into saying that he had SA'd her early on in the marriage. She did not show a willingness to walk away. I believe it was Nina Simone that said, be willing to walk away from the table when love is no longer being served. Whatever it was that she saw, his aggressiveness, his abusiveness, whatever it was that she saw, she should have been willing to walk away. No, this is a deal breaker for me. Just because I'm here or just because I've agreed to this relationship does not mean that I'm here for whatever. I'm not here for it. I'm out. Number 5, being willing to hide his abuse. So not only did she just deal with it and stay, she seemed to have hid it. And not to say that she had to tell the world that she was in an abusive relationship, but I would have let him know. I'm letting somebody know what you've done to me. I'm calling the police. I'm calling my brothers. I'm doing whatever I have to do to expose this mess, because this is not okay. Number 6, I believe that she made a mistake with not showing him that she was able to govern her own life. She kind of gave the impression that though she was this high earner, she could not govern her own life without men. She's living with one man and she's willing to go live with another man. That kind of shows men that you don't know what you're doing. You don't know how to govern your own finances. You don't know how to make wise decisions for yourself and your children. You're kind of like just floating around like this child who needs a man to come rescue you. Number 7, telling a man way too much about yourself. Soon after we meet a guy, we tell him all of our trauma. We tell him what we've been through. We tell him about the SAs that we've experienced. We tell him about our daddy issues, our mama issues, what happened to us in the last relationship, what the last guy did, how he didn't treat us right. We just give way too much information about ourselves. I was talking to a young man, a family member, and I told him that I think a lot of times we women just give way too much information about ourselves. And he told me, you know what? That's true. He said that he had met a young woman and he was really, really interested in her. He said that they were spending time together and he just thought like, wow, this girl is special. But then somewhere the conversation turned left. She got to telling him how she had been gang, RAPE, raped, and what these guys had done to her, and he just began to get turned off. He literally said he got sick to his stomach and he had wished that she had kept that from him, that wasn't something that she needed to share with him. And he was just thinking, here I am thinking that this girl is like top of the line, she's a princess, and how I'm really interested in her. You know, he literally said, I don't want to be with her. I don't want to be with a girl who's basically telling me her poom has been beat up. So whether it's right, wrong, or indifferent, you can turn men off by telling them too much about yourself. And you can make a man think, So this girl been played, raked over, and drugged through the mud, and now I'm supposed to treat her like a princess? If they're thinking that they've got this princess or this nice girl or this sweetheart, let them think that. You don't have to tell them every single terrible thing that has happened in your life. That's not necessary. You gotta play the role of a princess to be treated like a princess. Number 8, acting as if he is your savior or some prize that you've won. Say, for instance, this is the man of your dreams. This is the guy that you've been waiting for. You can't go into the relationship showing that, because what you're really doing without knowing it is you're devaluing yourself. You're spending all this time pumping him up and acting like he's your lottery ticket. He's going to pick up on the fact that, did she never have nice things? If you're seeing a guy, you walk into his place and he has just this beautiful layout, you can't be like, wow, all ghetto. Wow, this is nice. Oh my gosh, you got a king size bed and you the big baller shot caller. You got this nice car, this luxury car, and oh my gosh, look at your shoes, and making a big deal about his cologne, his watches, his suits, his shoes. Just keep your mouth shut. Even if he doesn't say it, he's going to be looking at you like, do you not have nice things? Did you never have anything? Did you come from dirt, squalor? Who am I dealing with? The lowest of the lowest? So don't go into a relationship pumping this man up, acting like you've never seen finer things, even if you haven't. Just observe. Don't pump him up, because when you're doing that, you're only showing him that you've never had any of the finer things in life. And you instantly position him as the prize. Number 9, making a man think that you have no protection from other men. This kind of goes back to the other point about telling a man everything about yourself. It's related, but it's a little different in that when you tell a man, for instance, I don't have a good relationship with my father, I don't have any brothers, I don't have any uncles, you kind of give men the impression that you have no protection. And when you're a woman out here with just no protection, there's nobody that loves you, there's nobody that cares about you, there's nobody that you can call in a moment's notice to let them know what someone has done to you. You kind of set yourself up as a sitting duck. You always want to let men believe and think that you are precious to some other man. My daddy, my brothers, my uncles, they don't play about me. I kind of liken it unto, you take a lion. A lion isn't too much moved by anything except another lion. So you can be the baddest thing, you can have all this mouth, you can have a mama and aunties and cousins, and you can come from the baddest family full of women, but a man is not interested and is not intimidated by a whole bunch of women. Trust me, you have to let a man know, I belong to somebody. I belong to a man who does not play about me. So don't try it. Don't try me. And number 10, giving a man complete control of your life. I said this in another video that I would tag below. We women have a horrible habit of getting into these relationships, and we're so exhausted from whatever it is, being a single mother, running all of this, doing the whole mommy thing, the hustle and bustle of work, family life. You got to get up in the morning, get the kids together, get yourself together, get to work. You work all day, you get home, you're exhausted. You got to get dinner ready. You got to get their homework, clothes picked out for the next day. Ooh, and let's not mention the extracurricular activities, games and recitals and parent-teacher conferences. And then if you're in school, you've got classes, you've got homework. And then are you even supposed to have a social life? And then there's, don't be a homeowner. You got to deal with the home, the mortgage, the repairs. Then there's your car, the car note, the repairs. It's just so much. And being a woman and a single mother in particular is exhausting. But we make the mistake of, when we meet these men, we're so exhausted from living and governing our own life that we just hand our lives over to these men because we want to rest. We want to rest and we want to let them do everything. But it's a bad idea to just show, okay, I'm not going to be vigilant. I'm not going to pay attention. I'm not going to make any decisions. Whatever you want to do with us is fine. That's ridiculous. While you're just interested in resting, you're finally happy that you met somebody. You have help with the bills, you have help with the children and the household, and to kind of take some of that strain off of you. While you're giving control, you don't realize that this person is completely controlling your life. They begin to take you away from friends and family and other people who have been supportive to you. They begin to make you feel guilty when you want to spend time with these people. Then they're covertly putting financial, social, and other emotional barriers in your way to make it difficult for you to leave the relationship. So then when something goes wrong, he either starts physically abusing you or SAing your children. You find it more difficult to say anything. And before you know it, you're imprisoned to this man. And the less likely you will be to make the necessary changes to leave that relationship. You have to enter the relationship with the same tenacity as you did when you were single. You were on top of everything. You handled everything. You were vigilant. You paid attention to your finances, your children, what was going on in the house. You have to continue to do that. Never get into a relationship and just hand your life over to a man because you're so eager to rest. And those are my 10 red flags. And I hope that these help. And I will talk to you next time. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell to ensure that you receive notifications each time I post a new video. And finally, ladies, if you would like to upgrade your self-esteem, learn how to fall in love with yourself, if you enjoy self-help quotes or level up quotes and relationship advice, you are invited to join us on all of our social media platforms at Recover and Level Up. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.